What's up guys, it's Tony from Streetball Strategies, where we use strategy to build your streetball legacy. Today we're talking about why it's important to play on different courts. While it's good to have one go-to home court where you do the vast majority of your practicing and playing, it's also important to have other courts that you visit on a regular basis around your neighborhood or city. While it may seem obvious that it's important to play on different courts, let's think about why that is. One is for experience. You want to have as much court experience under different court conditions as possible. So when you only play on your one home court, you get comfortable with the conditions that your court is supplying you. So you get used to the surface of your court, the lines on your court, the backboard, stanchion, rim on your court, the kind of players that come and play with you on your court. When it comes to playing on different courts, now you have to experience different court conditions. Other courts have different kind of surfaces: concrete, asphalt, blacktop. They have different kind of stanchions, they have different kind of backboards and rims, they have different kind of lines, they have different kind of players that play there. They may have different rules than the rules that you're used to. And you experiencing those different conditions as often and regularly as possible gives you the experience of having to adjust and compensate your game for those circumstances. And by doing so, it helps you to eliminate any holes you may have in your game, or to at least lessen weaknesses that you have in your game. For example, this court is recently refurbished. It wasn't like this at all last year. Last year it was just a green court with yellow lines. The stanchion was one of those round steel poles going straight up to a white oval backboard, and in the last year they have changed it out to what it is now. The biggest difference in this court now compared to what it was last year is that those backboards are terrible.
Those backboards are terrible.
The old backboards that used to be here were very plain, very simple. They were just white oval backboards made of metal. The reason those backboards are so bad now is because they're fiberglass, and they're not the kind of glass you would find in an actual gymnasium where it's hard and thick and tight and it doesn't have any resistance. These backboards are fiberglass and they have a lot of give to them. They have a lot of bounce to them in terms of they move when you hit the ball on them. The old backboards were just metal and they were sturdy, and so when you would bounce the ball off of those backboards, it felt like you were bouncing the ball off of the ground. And that's what you want in a backboard. You want sturdiness, you want tightness, you want tension, so that when you bounce the ball off the backboard, it gives you the same kind of bounce that you get off the ground, so you don't have to constantly adjust. These backboards have a lot of give in them, so when you bank the ball off this backboard, it doesn't bounce the way you expect. It doesn't bounce the same way it does off of the ground. So you have to put more power, more velocity into banking the ball off of these backboards, so you're constantly having to adjust for that. But not all courts around town have these kind of backboards. A lot of them still have those metal oval backboards, and so when you go from court to court, you have to adjust how you bank the ball off of certain backboards. And while that may seem like it's a pain to have to constantly adjust every time you go to a different court, it's also character building. It also helps you to learn how to adjust to different court conditions. It lessens you having that hole in your game, because if you never play on different backboards and then the first time you go to a court and you experience a different backboard and your game is off because of it, that's a hole you have in your game. And so the more you expose yourself to different court conditions, the better you are at being able to adjust to them no matter where you go. The second reason why it's important to go to different courts is because you need people. You need people to see you, to experience you, to see your game. And if you only rely on the people who may or may not come to your home court, those are the only people that are ever going to experience your game. What happens if you're out here for an hour and you know that to be the peak playing time for people to be out here and to be playing? What if you're out here for an hour and you know that time to be peak playing time for people to usually be out here and to be playing, but nobody's here? And so you're missing out on opportunity to be on the court, to be playing and have people experiencing you doing that, thus you being able to build your legacy with them. And so if nobody's here, then you should go to courts that have people playing. And even if your court is the main court in your neighborhood or your city, you still need to have exposure to different players on different courts. The more people that see you, the more people that experience you, the more people that see how hard you play, how much this means to you, that you take this seriously, that you mean business, the more people that see that, the more people that experience that, the greater chance you have to expand your legacy throughout your neighborhood. It's as simple as trying to get as many eyes on you as possible in as many locations as possible, as repetitively as possible. So let's go over some tips to figure out how to make this as efficient as possible. So number one, you have to understand that when you go to a different court other than your home court, that's somebody's home court. Somebody there, probably multiple people, consider that to be their home court. They are regulars there, they play there on a regular basis. That's where they are most comfortable playing. And whether or not you've played there before, the bottom line is that you're a visitor, you're a guest, and you should behave as such. In terms of, you need to be assertive on that court, but you should also be respectful. You want to approach that court with the idea that you're there to show everybody else who you are and what you're about and what your game is about. But don't be overly aggressive about it, and certainly don't be disrespectful. What you'll find is that every court kind of has its own culture based around it, because certain types of people play on certain types of courts. They have a certain routine, certain procedures, certain culture that they're used to their courts being played upon. And so because you're a visitor, because you're a guest, it's on you to figure out how to respectfully fit into that culture while still asserting your game against the people that play there on a regular basis. So they may have different rules, they may have different procedures that they go through when it comes to playing or picking teams, whatever it may be. It's your responsibility to fit in with those people and their court and their court culture. It's not on you to sort of bring what you're used to their court. You have to adjust to them and their court. Following in the theme of being respectful and fitting into their court, you also have to make sure that you're showing them that you want to fit in, that you want to belong, that you want to earn your spot on their court. You have to show them that you are worthy of their respect, because to them, you're a stranger showing up on their home court, and you're asking them to respect you and to respect your game. But they're not just going to give you that respect. You have to earn it from them, and that's the way it should be. If people come to your home court, you don't know them, they're strangers to you, you give them a general sort of basketball player respect, but in terms of how much you revere them and how much you respect their game specifically and individually. That's what you do when people come to your home court. They're strangers to you. You don't know them. You may have a general human being respect for them as basketball players, but you don't know them, you don't know their game, and so you don't have a respect for how good or not they may or may not be. They have to show you how good they are before you give them that kind of respect. And so on other people's courts, that's what you have to do. You have to show them that you mean business, that you want respect. And even if you don't have the skills and the abilities yet to go to their court and sort of dominate them or to assert yourself and your game on their courts, if you're still at the beginning of your legacy, if you're still learning, you can still announce your presence and make it known that you're serious about fitting in and earning their respect by the effort you give them. The more you show them that you want to learn and you want to win and you want to help them win, the more they will then respect you over time as you repetitively show them and repetitively try to earn their respect. Also, try to find some way to stand out to them. Try to find something that's your calling card, something that they will remember you by next time you show up to the court. For instance, if you're a great three-point shooter, let them see that. Let that be known to them. Make sure that when you're out here, you put that on display to them so that when you come back, they remember you as the good three-point shooter. But again, if you're not at a point in your legacy yet where you have skills that can give you that sort of calling card to make them remember you by, always your go-to is your effort. Always trying to hustle after loose balls and rebounds and showing the people that you play with that your number one priority is to help them win. That's what they will remember you for more than anything overall, is, does that person help me win? When you can show yourself to have value by giving value to them and their own legacy by helping them to win, that's the ultimate value you can provide them. And so even if you don't have something like a three-point shot that can be your calling card, you can always count on your effort as the way that people will remember you, because through your effort they will see that you're trying to learn, you're trying to win, and you're trying to help them win. And I guarantee if you help them win, there's nothing that has more value to them than they being able to win with you on their team. And as I said before, it's important that you come back out to those courts on a repetitive and regular basis. You want to make sure that you don't show up like once at the beginning of summer and then once at the end of summer and call that good enough. You want to make your presence known on a regular basis, especially if you like the court, if you enjoy the court, if you enjoy the atmosphere and the culture and the people of that court. Make sure that you figure out how to get out there on a regular basis. Even if you have to schedule when you're going to go out there, make sure you figure out how to get out there on a repetitive and regular basis. Something that's helpful to do when you're on a court that you're not familiar with, but you like the culture, you like the players, try to find someone who's a regular out there, someone who maybe considers that to be their home court. Approach them, talk to them, get their information, get their number, text with them. Figure out how to meet up with them again on the court. And so now when you do that, when you have their information and they have yours, Now you can coordinate times to meet up on the court, and now you have somebody that you know on that court who you're developing a friendship, a relationship with, who can help you to acclimate and become known to that court more quickly. Always out at the court, whether it's your home court or someone else's court, you want to be networking. You want to have people know who you are, know your name, know that you're serious about ball, that you take it seriously, that it means a lot to you, that you want to learn, that you want to win, that you want to help them win. You want those things to be known as much as possible. That's crucial into building your legacy, because you can have your home court be your home base for your legacy, but it's not going to grow very much just in that one home base that you have. The more you can go out to other courts, meet other players, have them understand that you're a serious basketball player and that you respect their home court, and yet you're trying to use their court to help build your legacy. As long as they feel that you're worthy of doing that, as long as you earn their respect, they will then lend their court to help you build your legacy. And the more courts you can do that on, the better, because you're expanding your legacy beyond just your home court. I really do hope you guys try to experience as many different courts as possible and give yourself exposure to all those different court conditions and players. It's very invaluable when it comes to building your legacy out here on the court. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to be notified of all my future videos. And I will see you guys next week.
What's that on that beat? Oh.
I'm different, yeah, I'm different. I'm different, yeah, I'm different.